Hey, what's going on, everyone? I'm Sirius. Let me show you how I go about answering a question of how do I start with socials, right? I know what you're thinking right now is like, who is not on socials by now? You would be surprised. How many of decent eight-figure businesses have nothing to do with socials, right? There's a huge market for that. Okay. Many of my clients come in and they go like, I do a little bit of LinkedIn, because it's B2B. We get a couple of inbound there, but ultimately we do nothing else. Right. And they just want to start going into socials simply because what they do is run ads, right? They do have some type of marketing activities. It's very, very often very heavy on ads. And of course, with time, that eats into the margin. And of course, if you want to inject some scale, that's going to inject scale in the cost as well, right? So they want something more organic, which inbound will take place after a decent amount of time, 6 to 12 months. SEO is one of big ones. Of course, socials is another one. So let me share my screen and let's flowchart this. Cool. Let's kick off. So let's start with this one and let's rephrase a little bit what the client's asking. Effectively, what they're asking is, or what they're saying is, I want to do socials for outbound, right? If they're not, they should rephrase this to exactly this. Okay. So it needs to be a result driven. You don't want to do socials just for the sake of doing socials, right? After that, what we have is a couple more questions, right? So it's like, why are you posting? Why are you posting? Okay. Another question would be another great question would be, what are you posting? What are you posting? Another great question would be, where are you? Where are you posting? And to finish this off, we want another question, which would be, how are you posting? Right? All of these questions effectively is a good question to ask when you think about a decent execution of this as a tool or as a campaign. All right. So if I move all of this aside, then we will start with, why are you posting? Okay. So we'll move this, we'll go back. Why are you posting? So very often, and this is actually how it starts, is that there's some idea of relevance and brand awareness, or type of situation where they just, you know, uh awareness typing today, where they just want to be in socials, have their name up there, and then it just be seen type of situation. So I will instantly make this into a different sort of border, and I'll say this is a huge, huge mistake. Okay. Socials in general takes time. You need to think about the content. You need to think about your content strategy. You need to make videos or write things. You need to post them. Okay. There's a schedule. You need to have a cadence to train the algorithms of any of the social platforms you're going to go after, that you are a decent content creator, before you get any results. And if all of this is just to be out there, you literally have no plan. Okay. Your return of investment of this operation will be very, very poor. Okay. Have a plan, know why you're doing this. If you don't, just don't do it, do something else. Okay. There needs to be an ROI, return of investment, attached to this one, right? So that's why I would say it's part of a funnel. Okay. A funnel. Simple as that. It has to be part of your funnel. The social posts, they need to be top of the funnel, leading somewhere else. Usually there's a, CTA, which is, a link, such as like the, visit a website, or a calendar link to book a call or something like that. But that's a strategy, right? That then you basically saying, hey, why are you posting? Well, why I'm posting is because I want to post videos which clearly shows my authority or expertise within a certain topic. When people will see the videos, they know I know my shit. Okay. They will go in the description, they will look at it and go like, I want to talk with this guy, see if he can help me more. Right. As a funnel, how you answer why are you posting question. Okay. So the second question which we did is, uh what are you posting? Well, we sort of alluded to this, right? But it has to be driven by content strategy, right? Content strategy. There's a video somewhere in my feed. If you Google about offer, right, I go a little bit more deeper into how you actually construct a content strategy. But at a high level, you need to do keyword research, a market research, or intent research is the same things. Okay, you need to find what people are looking for and what problems they have around the area or what you're trying to solve, right? Your service or your coach or whatever, right? So once you have that, you will be posting snippets or answers to their smaller problems. Think of this: if they have 10 big problems, you're probably going to be posting about the most common ones, and you will be giving some insights around how you would go about resolving them. But the big how to's, of course, will be your CTAs or behind your CTAs or your calls or meetings or your courses or whatever, right? But the content will be in this area, and this is what you're going to be posting. You're not going to be posting, hey guys, I woke up, look at my steak today. If you're trying to sell some management coaching course, right? You're going to be posting within your topic, right? So this is how you answer what are you posting question. And I made this way too far, but we go, where are you posting, right? So this is quite important as well. Think about your time investment, okay? So there's a lot of social platforms. Of course, the most popular is being YouTube, LinkedIn, X, Facebook. But you want to ask your question, you want to ask a question yourself, is that where my ideal customer profile are actually spending their time within those socials? And you want to be posting there. Simple as that. Okay. You can spread yourself into all the socials, and I will talk about how you're posting just in a second. But I'll tell you right now is that the time to manage all of this, it's definitely there. Okay. Especially if you are successful in some of these, you'll get questions, you'll get some conversation going on. You'll need to show love to all of that to actually drive that into somewhere. And if you are in like 9 socials and things are happening everywhere, well, good problem to have. But that will really take a lot of amount of time away from you. And the most likely outcome will be that that's not what's going to happen. What's going to happen is that you will be investing time to post everywhere, and you'll have a readjustment of content. Okay, so if you think about YouTube, that's a videos, right? You can put that video on LinkedIn, but then you need to have a post. Okay, you can put that on Facebook. Again, you need to have a post with that, right? It's a different post. YouTube is the description of a video. A post on LinkedIn, it has to have some copywriting idea. If you put the same on Twitter, that's less content, right? You just got capped at what is that? 180 characters. You need to rewrite that. Yes, you can put AI into that and ChatGPT. Again, time, right? Why are you putting that in all the platforms? You have to have a reason. These platforms, better conversions. Are you running ads on your post or whatever? So where are you posting is quite important to the whole of the strategy. We need to tie with your goal, which has your ROI in it, right? If it's selling, if it's meetings, you need to ask a question if that's actually viable for you and it drives your goal, right? And how are you posting? I mean, majority of you will simply do this manually, but I do want to give a quick shout that you don't have to do this manually. Huge amount of services. Just put it in ChatGPT or Google and go like, how do I automate my social posting? And you'll find, HotSuite, Buffer, which is on top of my head right now, but there's, many more. They will induce a cost to you, a slight cost. I think it's going to be something like £20 a month, but then they will sort of allow you to post everywhere. And the third one, you can actually do it yourself, right? You have Zapier, you have make.com, you have N where if you technical enough, you can set up your own distribution of content pipelines and effectively, scale them up. But again, what is your goal? If your goal is to be big on socials and be everywhere, right? And the strategy is like that. It's just huge investments of your time goes towards that. 6 9 months later, uh, inbound activities will take place, that you're going to be creating content a day, 2 hours a day to film it and then distribute all of that. Then of course create these pipelines or buy into those tools. But if you're just starting, and majority of my clients just are starting, just choose 1 to 3 platforms which your ideal customers are spending their time. Do a decent amount on creating content strategy and do a posting. That's it. That's how you get started. Thanks for tuning in.